Hi everyone, this is Ms. Kennedy from Lone Tree Elementary, our 5th grade squad, and I'm teaching you a review lesson from Chapter 4, Lesson 5. We are continuing with trying to master our division of long numbers, and that comes from our Common Core Standard in Number and Base 10 Operations, number 6. We're trying to divide 4-digit dividends by 2-digit divisors, and using numbers in a way that makes sense to us while practicing new ways. Our mathematical practices are number 1, I can solve problems without giving up. Number 2, I can think about numbers in many ways. Number 6, I can work carefully and check my work. Number 7, I can use what I know to solve new problems. And finally, number 8, I can solve problems by looking for rules and patterns. Our first example is a fill in the blank so that we can see how much work we need to do in this process of division. It looks scary, I agree. However, it can be done if we practice. So in this example, we're dividing 47,800 by 25. So what the example is telling us is that we can't divide 4 by 25. So we move over to the thousands place over top of the 7. We can divide 47 by 25 one time. 1 times 25 is 25. And 47 minus 25 gives us 22. We use our arrow here to bring down the 8 in the dividend because 22 cannot divide 25 times. So now we need to divide 228 by 25. Well, if I'm thinking outside of the box using a mathematical practice, 25 cents, if I have a quarter and I have 4 quarters, 25 cents times 4 equals $1. So I know that 25 times 4 equals 100. So if I multiply 25 times 8, I have 8 quarters, that will give me $2, which gets me very close to 225. Although I have to make sure that it's enough. So in order to check my work, I know that 25 times 8 is 200. But let me check and see if 25 times 9 will get me closer, because 25 times 10 using power of 10 is 250, and that's too high. 5 times 9 is 45. I'm going to regroup the tens. 9 times 2 is 18 plus 4 is 22. Look at that. So now I know 9 times 25 gives me that 225. When I subtract, I get 3 left over, and I bring down the 0. All right. So 30 divides by 25 one time. We're back up here. Divide, multiply. 1 times 25 is 25. Subtract. 30 minus 25 is 5. And 5 can't divide 25 times. So bring down the 0 again. 50 divided by 25 is 2. Going back to those 2 quarters that I have, that's 50 cents. 2 times 25 equals 50, and my remainder is 0. Now remember, our answer is not always going to end up in a 0. It may have a remainder value. We got lucky this time. And so the missing number is 9. So our completed answer is 1,912. Let's clear the board. And move on to the next problem. Now, in this example, I have allowed you to see the steps 1 through 4. We are dividing 22,500 by 75. So we know that 22,000, we can't divide 22 by 75, so we're going to have to go all the way over to the 5 where that first digit is, and the first box is indicated. Remember, nothing goes over here. If you have to put X's to remind yourself, do that, but 22 does not divide by 25. 225 divided by 75 is 3. 75 times 3 is 225. Look at that, and I've got zeros. Okay, but I have to go all the way out and finish the rest of the dividends. So I have to keep going even though I have zeros. So 0 divided by 75 is 0. 0 times 75 is 0. Bring down the 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. Bring down the 0 again. 0 divided by 75 is 0. 0 times 75 is 0. And again, my answer at the end is 0, no remainder. I have to go all the way out to this dividend before I can stop. So I may get a 0, and it's an even answer, or I may get a remainder. When I get to this last digit in the dividend, that's where I stop. So place the first digit over the hundreds place in the quotient for this particular question. Use multiplication and subtraction. Divide the 10s, divide the 1s. You keep going through to the very end of the dividends before you can finish. And our answer is 300. Let's clear the screen again and go to our final example. Now, up here, we're showing 43,803 divided by 93. I'm not able to work with that, and so I set my equation up in the standard algorithm. So 43,803 is my dividend, and 93 is my divisor, and I set those up appropriately. Then I can start dividing. Divide, multiply, subtract, break down the next number, go back up to the top, and start over. So now I know that 4 can't divide by 93, 43 can't divide by 93, excuse me. So I'm going to start over here in the hundreds place of the dividend. 438 divided by 93. I wonder what that could be. Well, if I use my knowledge of estimation, 93 is somewhat close to 100. 438 is close to 400. Perhaps I can divide 400 by 100 and try 4. I'm just going to try 4 because some of what you do in division is just guessing a number, and you might have to work that number out. Let's keep going. 93 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 1 is 37. So my answer is 372. That's what I'm going to subtract from 438. I'm going to start on the right. Oh, I don't need to borrow from there, but I do need to borrow from over here. Scratch that. 8 minus 2 is 6. 13 minus 7 is 6. 66 cannot divide 93. So I bring down a 0. 660 divided by 93. Again, I could make it 100, and that would be about 6. But let me check because it could be 6 or 7. 93 times 6, 3 times 6 is 18. This is where the guessing comes in, because I want to get close to 660 without going too far under or over. 9 times 6 is 54, plus 1 is 55. Okay, that gives me 558. Let me multiply 93 times 7 before I get started with the subtraction. 3 times 7 is 21. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 3 is 600. And, oh, what did I add 3 for? Pardon me, I need to add 2. Thank you. Always check your work, right? That's a mathematical practice. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 2 is 5. Great. This one's much closer than 93 times 6. So I'm going to put the 7 over the tens place. 93 times 7 is 651. I'm going to do my subtraction by regrouping. 10 minus 1 is 9. I'm going to bring down the 3. It doesn't look a line because of my writing on the board, but it's okay. 93 divided by 93 is 1. I'm going to put that over the very last digit in the dividend. 1 times 93 is 93. 93 minus 93 is 0. So my answer is 471. Division is a process, friends. So please don't give up, and don't get discouraged. It takes practice. You have to play with those numbers and check your work. Let's check our work from that last one. 471 times 93. Are you kidding, Mrs. Kennedy? You want me to do this to check my answer? Absolutely, because you want to make sure your work is right. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 7 is 21. Regroup. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. I'm going to put an anchor 0 here. Some of you may put an X. I put an anchor 0. And that moves us from the ones place to the tens place. So now that I'm multiplying from the tens place, I don't have an answer for the ones place. 9 times 1 is 9. 7 times 9 is 63. And I used that last time. I'm going to add that 6 for regrouping. 9 times 4 is 36 plus 6, which gives me 42. Now I've got it all lined up. I can add 3 plus 0 is 3. 1 plus 9 is 10. Regroup. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Look at that. My 803 matches up. 1 plus 2 is 3. And 4, bring it down. And I have the correct answer after I check my work. And once you get the hang of it, it's not going to take you that long to check your answer. All right, friends, that wraps up this long division lesson. So watch the lesson again if you have to. Stop it, pause it, practice on your own. Make sure you're taking your answer all the way out to the very last number in the dividend and check your work. Log into iReady and practice. See if your teacher posted an assignment and keep practicing. Thank you for watching today.